getting away from the portal now and talking about the coaching staffs a little bit, guys. There's been some shifts to coaching staffs around our state in terms of who's on the staff, who's moving around. It's the attrition that we see every single summer heading into the fall.
Yeah, we have most of the head coaches back,
Sure.
but we have some pretty big changes at the coordinator position, including really high-profile ones at NC State and UNC.
I think those are the two. Really, there's three. If we wanted to dip outside of our state for just a second, we had James Shipley here. Garrett Riley at Clemson is obviously significant. TCU, what he did with the quarterback at TCU last year, taking them to the national championship game. Then you move into our state, and it's really significant at the University of North Carolina with Phil Longo moving on to Wisconsin, and also with the offensive line coach going there with him. So there's two replacements there. Chip Lindsey has a great history of running offenses. He's been with Todd Monken. He's been with Malzahn. So he's got a great background. He's been a head coach. Randy Clements comes in as the offensive line coach to that, and he has history with the Browse family. And then I think another significant guy that is a volunteer at the University of North Carolina is Clyde Christensen. And Clyde Christensen has coached some pretty good NFL quarterbacks named Brady and Peyton Manning.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them.
So he may bring a little something to the table for those guys. And then I'll be quick here. And I think the addition of Robert and I at North Carolina State with Brennan Armstrong will be significant. Having coached and played against them, Robert and I is very creative. And the best years that Brennan Armstrong had in this league were under his guidance.
Yeah, Brennan Armstrong, who had a great career at Virginia, poised to do more great things in the ACC. DG.
For sure. And the Brennan Armstrong of 2 years ago in Charlottesville was really good when Robert and I was with him. The Brennan Armstrong without Robert and I last year was not very good in Charlottesville. So obviously this reunion is a huge part of Dave Doran's optimism at NC State. Real quick follow-up, Coach Collins. From the outside, and I spent some time in Chapel Hill, from the outside, it looks really, really strange that when you have a famous quarterback named Drake May returning, that the offensive coordinator would depart. That just there's, Arsenio Hall used to say on his late night show, some things make you say, like that makes me say, You'd think coaches would be dying to stay when you have a proven quarterback going into potentially another productive year that makes the coordinator look good.
Well, I think one thing that is out there that unless you're within that structure and know those people, Phil Longo's wife is from Wisconsin. And that gave her the opportunity with the kids and all to be back close to home. Now, whether there were discussions between Coach Brown and Coach Longo and those things, we always wanted to run the football better. Maybe those there, I was not privy to those discussions. So it did happen quick. We did struggle to run the football a little bit at the end of the year. So we'll see where it all goes.
Turn our focus now to week 1 of the college football season, which is coming up in just a couple of weeks. And there's a question marks, I'm sure, for everybody as we head into week 1 of the college football. A lot of unknowns. JR, we'll start with you. Give us maybe one question mark that you're looking for as we head into week 1 of the college football season.
Is this going to be our year at NC State? Every year we wish it. We always have good defense. We always.
You're not a homer, are you, JR?
I'm a little bit of a homer. I am. We always put people in the NFL, but it's weird we don't get championships. It doesn't cross over to big bowl games or championships. Is this going to be the year? And is Doran on the hot seat? If not,
let me ask you this, JR. Think about the history of this area.
Yeah.
Who is the last team in this area to win a conference championship in the state of North Carolina?
It was Wake Forest, right?
It was Wake Forest.
It was.
It's been I don't know when it was, but it's 1980 for North Carolina.
It's been 1979 for NC State and 1980 for UNC. Yeah. That's the last ACC football title.
Now, I'm going to correct you here for a second, okay? I was on a staff at 1989 at Duke when we
oh no, I didn't say anything of Duke. Duke was 89. I just talked with Coach Spurrier. I remember that. I covered that one. I was still in college, but I covered Duke's back then. They didn't even have a title game. So
right.
it was co-champions
Yep.
between Virginia
it was
and Duke.
co-champions. We actually lost to Virginia, big at Virginia,
Yep.
and ended up being co-champions.
Coach, for you, as
Wow.
we look ahead toward week one, what are your biggest question marks?
Well, I think I don't have this question mark, but I think a lot of people out there are going to question the improvement of the North Carolina defense. I happen to think, and I was in the room, and I think Cedric Gray and Paul Eccles and those guys are great leaders on their defense. They've got a lot of good players back up front. I think they helped themselves in the back end. They're in the second year of Gene Chick's package, so I'd be much improved. But to a lot of people, there's a question.
DG?
Chris, I don't give short answers very
That's
often.
okay.
I don't know if I can stick to one, but look at it this way. My one at the NFL level, since we're celebrating football at all levels right now, the Carolina Panthers have both a new head coach in Frank Reich and a new quarterback in number 1 overall Bryce Young. I mean, that's something to watch right here in our backyard. At the college level, at Carolina, I mean, now as Sam Howell has just recently announced the starting quarterback for the Washington Commodores, UNC has not sent a large number of quarterbacks to the next level. They've actually done it a little bit recently with Mitch Trubisky and Sam Howell, and soon, obviously, Drake May. But the Heels have not really cashed in with those 10 or more win seasons when they have those special quarterbacks. They've had good teams, but Drake May might be the best NFL quarterback prospect ever produced by the University of Carolina in, like 100 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they got to cash in on that. And NC State does have another good team, and they need Brendan Armstrong to deliver. But I'm watching all over the place, man, because East Carolina has a really good head coach in Mike Houston. And remember, the schools in the American Athletic Conference that have been winning, not all, but the majority of the AAC football title aren't there.
That's right.
Houston, Central Florida, and Cincinnati won 5 of the 8 AAC title games. That game's only been around for so long. Well, guess what? They're all Big 12 now. So on the cracked door opportunity for me, for a Pirate Nation that hasn't had a conference event since the 1990s. Much like Coach Collins examined the ACC a little bit earlier. App State has played in 3 of the 5 Sun Belt football title games, but they were not great last year. So will Sean Clark bring the Mountaineers back? A long list. And it makes it fun. Whether you're a fan of high school football, college football, or pro football, we have no shortage of great headlines this year.
And don't forget about the guy in Durham under center also. He is a heck of a player. I tell you, we played them in a night game over there, and we when I was at North Carolina, we were so fortunate to get out of there that night. He played absolutely great, and if you look at preseason rankings now, they have 2 offensive linemen that are rated very high in all the preseason teams and as far as being prospects.